Welcome, people. It's your boy Q from Queued Up Productions. And I got a slightly different video that I kind of wanted to throw at you today. I just want to ask you a couple questions first. First of all, what is your goal in music? I think that's the first question that you have to ask yourself. There's no question that my channel is more geared towards beginners, people who are just starting out, not really sure which way they want to go in music. So these questions I think you have to ask yourself before you even take that first step or second step. Is that goal for me to make a hit record? If so, then you need to tailor your direction a certain way. Is it to be a studio mixer, engineer, or some type of assistant? That's another avenue that you can go. And then, do I want to do strictly live sound? Do I want to stay along that type of avenue as far as music goes? And then after that, you got to think to yourself, how do I get to that goal, whatever that goal may be? Do I need to go to school? Should I go to school? Should I not? What equipment do I need to get started? Those type of things. What tools do I need to get started? So I think those are a lot of questions that you have to ask yourself before you even jump into any genre of music. But just like a doctor, you have to always study what your passion is. That means in books, looking things up online as far as Google. Things are a lot easier to find now. You can get a lot of that information in pieces and parts on YouTube if that's the route that you choose to go. Myself, I was making music and then I went to school. And I think school just kind of solidified some of the things that I already knew, but it showed me how to put certain pieces in the right order. I'll give you an example. Music theory. A lot of people all over YouTube think that, or I'm sorry, the argument back and forth is, do I need music theory or do I not? There's a lot of things that you have out there in reason. Say, for instance, you have scales and chords. So even though you're given those scales and chords, having some thought in music theory, if you don't necessarily have an ear for that, which some people have that gift and they can have an ear and know which way the flow needs to go. But if you don't have that, then music theory or having a knowledge of that shows you how each piece fits to the next. Not only in doing it, I can show you how to do a chord progression all day. However, knowing the reason why it fits, knowing why it does what it does, why it gives you the feeling that it gives you is a totally different subject. So that's why that's important to know. Say for another example would be if you are having problems in your music production itself, and say it's with drums. How do I get the drums a certain type of way? How do I get a certain feel from the drums? Well, you can look that up on YouTube. There's plenty of videos posted, but I would, depending on what your genre is, I wouldn't limit myself to simply just the click-in type of drums, or even so much as playing them by hand. Finger drumming, of course, that's something different. I've never had that gift. If you do, hey, more power to you. But some of us don't have that. The way I approached it, me personally, was to watch videos of drummers actually playing and watching some of their videos and teaching skills of, 4/4 time, 8/4 time, half time, 3/4 time, things like that. So that was my approach. Whatever fits you, then by all means go with that. But the key that I'm trying to get across is that whatever it is, or whatever your passion is, you have to study it. You have to dedicate time and energy to that. Whatever your goal is, I recommend that you post that goal in all the places where you go. In my particular case, I have my goals posted on the wall in front of me so that whenever I'm sitting at this desk, I can see those goals. It's in my studio. Every time I go into my studio, I see what those goals are. On my laptop, a lot of times I'll have those goals posted every now and then. If it's not on the screensaver, it's just sitting in the background so that I always see them. And that just kind of etches it into your brain, and it keeps you focused and keeps you on track of what you need to do, of where you're trying to get to. So those are always great. Something else is you always want to try to take advantage of opportunities. Take advantage of opportunities to network with other producers, stay up to date, and try to hop on some opportunities to work in other genres, different types of music. Because the good thing you can get from that is, if say you're doing something in drum and bass. I never played with drum and bass, and I decided I wanted to learn it a little bit. So I went and learned some of the fundamentals from that. Then I wanted to learn some other types of EDM. I wanted to learn chill trap, vice the regular mainstream trap that you hear now. So I took some elements from each one of those things and tried to see how I could implement it into my own thing, and make my own type of sound from that. You hear people all the time say, find your sound. That's a great way to do that. I've done classical music. I've done atmospherical music, ambient music, chill trap, R&B. There's so many genres out there, it's ridiculous. So go in and learn some of those things. Reggae. I've even made country music, which is very interesting, because if you slow country music down, it sounds just like hip hop. But go out and try some of those things, and be open to criticism. One of our main, I guess you could say, drawbacks of being a producer, or an artist for that matter, is to be able to distinguish the difference between criticism and having a hater. The two differences are, number one, a constructive criticism comment would be, hey, I like what you did, but here's something that you can do, or maybe try, that can make that a little bit better. So not only am I telling you that you're on the right track, it may not be something that I particularly would do, but I'm giving you advice on another avenue that you might try. Vice someone who's a hater saying, well, man, I thought it sucked. You know what I mean? I don't know what you was thinking. Why did you use this instrument? How come you don't use this? This is what everybody else is using. Sometimes you don't really need to pay that any lip service or any attention at all. Keep doing what you do. Usually if someone is trying to help you, then not only will they give you good criticism on what you did, they will have an ear to tell you what they hear in your music, and maybe some things you can try to get a little bit better. And then the second thing would be, usually if you are accepting of great criticism, if that criticism is definitely worth you taking on board to make you better, then you bring that person on as an ally, as a networking tool. Once someone sees that you don't mind receiving help from them, they're more apt to give you more advice, which is always a great thing. I'm sure you've heard the term never burn a bridge. So in music and in production, knowledge is key. Don't push anybody away. So that's just a few tips that I have for you. Again, this was just a different type of video that I wanted to do strictly for beginners, and maybe some intermediates that are out there also who were kind of on the fence of which way they want to take their career from here. So that's just my take on it. That's my time. If you like this video, as well as any of my other videos that I have on my channel, which has some pretty good content, feel free to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment below if you thought this video was helpful, or if it was not, or if there's anything that you would like to see me talk about in the future. Be sure to hit the notifications button so you always stay up to date on all my latest content, and most of all, stay queued up. Peace.